Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly in the early morning light, perhaps with a cup of coffee warming your hands, wondering how life turned out the way it did? Not in a regretful way, but more like you're slowly flipping through the pages of your own story. Some chapters filled with joy, others with hardship. And now maybe you're asking, what comes next? Especially when the paycheck stops. Can I really retire? Can I still live with dignity, peace, even joy on a budget? It's a question many of us over 50, 60, even 70 are quietly asking ourselves, though we may not speak it out loud. Because somewhere along the way, we were told that retirement needed to look a certain way. A house paid off, a fat pension, maybe even winters in Florida and summers by the lake. But the truth? For many of us, those promises didn't quite unfold that way. Maybe you raised children on a single income. Maybe life threw some health challenges or job losses your way. Or maybe you simply didn't have the kind of financial guidance that would have made all this easier. And that's okay. Let me say this gently, and with all the care I can, there is still a path forward. A meaningful, beautiful, and even joyful retirement is still possible, even on a limited budget. But to understand that, we need to talk not just about numbers, but about feelings, about fears, about dignity, about dreams. Because aging isn't just about saving enough. It's about feeling enough. I want to tell you a story. It's about Evelyn and Walter. They're both in their early 70s now, living in a modest rental apartment just outside Portland. No beachfront property, no luxury car. But every Thursday morning, they sit at their tiny kitchen table and have what they call their gratitude breakfast. One day, Evelyn shared something with me. She said, "For years, I thought we failed. We didn't have enough saved. We couldn't travel like our friends. I was ashamed. But then I looked at Walter across the table and realized he still makes me laugh. We still dance in the living room when no one's watching. And somehow, that's become our wealth." Their story is not rare. It's a quiet, powerful truth that more people need to hear. Yes, living on a fixed income requires adjustments. Yes, you might have to make choices you didn't anticipate. But emotional wealth, intimacy, friendship, purpose, creativity, those things aren't bound by your 401k. And that brings me to something deeper. Retirement isn't just about ending a career. It's about rediscovering who you are without a job title. It's about shifting your identity from provider or professional to simply you. And that's not always easy. Especially if you spend decades in service of others, raising children, supporting a partner, managing a household, or climbing a career ladder. When the noise settles and the calendar clears, some days can feel hollow, even lonely. And loneliness, that quiet ache, is more common than many will admit, especially for older adults. It can stem from changing relationships, the loss of a spouse, adult children moving away, or even changes in your body that make you feel invisible. For women, menopause may bring shifts in mood, energy, and how we feel in our skin. For men, changes in testosterone and circulation can affect physical intimacy. And it's not just the body, it's the stories we start to tell ourselves. I'm not attractive anymore. My partner doesn't look at me the same. I don't know how to bring up what I need, what I miss. But here's something beautiful. Just because our bodies change doesn't mean connection disappears. Intimacy can evolve, and sometimes it gets even better. I once met James and Linda at a senior center workshop. They'd been married 38 years. James had been quiet most of the session, but at the end he raised his hand and said, "I thought I was broken. Things don't work the same down there, but then Linda told me, "You still make my heart race when you hold my hand." That changed everything. They started focusing less on performance and more on presence. Hand-holding, slow dancing in the kitchen, reading aloud to each other before bed. These moments rekindled something. And James said, with tears in his eyes, "I feel more connected to her now than I did at 30. Isn't that what we all want? To be seen, to be touched, not just physically, but emotionally. If you felt distant from your partner or even from yourself, please know you're not alone. Sometimes the hardest conversations are the most healing ones. Maybe it starts with, "I miss you," or "I feel shy, but I'd like to feel close again." Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a bridge. And if you're not in a relationship, that's okay too. This season of life can be one of deep self-love and exploration. Maybe you try painting for the first time, or you volunteer at a local shelter. Maybe you join a community choir, even if your voice cracks a bit. There is no expiration date on new beginnings. I want you to hear this. Your beauty, your wisdom, your sensuality, none of it has an age limit. Your wrinkles, they are not flaws. They are the poetry of a life well lived. Your silver hair, that's not decline. That's a crown of experience. And your body, even as it changes, still deserves love, pleasure, and respect. If shame or embarrassment has kept you silent, I gently encourage you to talk to someone. A doctor, a therapist, a trusted friend. There's no shame in asking for help, whether for physical concerns or emotional pain. You are not a burden. You are a story worth listening to. And remember, the people who love you truly love you. They want to know what you feel, what you need. They want to walk beside you, not ahead of you. Retiring on a budget doesn't mean you're retiring from life. In fact, for many, this season becomes the most creative, liberating time of all. You might discover joy in gardening, in writing, in connecting with grandchildren in ways you never had time for before. You might even rediscover yourself, the parts that were tucked away while life was busy. So breathe. Give yourself permission to rest and also to dream. And if you ever start to feel like you're less than because your retirement doesn't look like a commercial, remember Evelyn and Walter. Remember James and Linda. The real richness of life isn't in your zip code, your investments, or your car. It's in the moments, the morning coffee, the soft laughter, the long walks, the deep talks. You are not behind. You are not done. You are still becoming. And here on the Age of Beauty, you are seen. You are celebrated. And you are never alone. If this video brought comfort to your heart or gave you a new perspective, I invite you to gently press that like button. Share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like more soulful stories and aging positive content, don't forget to subscribe to The Age of Beauty. Together, let's keep reminding the world and ourselves that aging is not a decline. It is a rising into wisdom, into softness, into truth. And that, dear friend, is a beauty that only time can create.